Got your green screen going a little bit, huh?
I mean, I have it up and it's across the wall.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if it's lighting. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the one thing about it, you at least honest. We trying to figure it out, Rick. That's all I can say. We just trying to figure it out, and we'll go with it how we go. You about ready there, young man? We'll go with it. You about
Yes,
ready?
sir.
Hey, we'll kick it off. Should be an interesting one. And one thing I like about coaches and players, boy, they be on time. You don't have to worry about them. They be on time. Up and ready to go, Rick.
That's what's up.
Hey, I'll go with that. That's what's up.
Let me mute this.
Like us on Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. Insights.
Yeah.
Two eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all. It's showtime.
I really don't know about you some days, Rick. All right, y'all.
Some days. Oh, you give me some props today. It's not. I don't know about you at all, Rick, but at least you said some days, so I'm cool with that.
So you can take that and run with it.
Oh yeah, most def. What's happening, Coach?
Man, I'm gonna take your line. If I be any better, I change my name from Mick to Rick.
Oh, ah,
That's what
oh, 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 oh my goodness.
I start off.
Ah!
It's on fire. We gonna start off hot. Oh,
Hey, look, that's what we have to get. We have to get some daggone some say we can throw on emojis or some say fire on the screen all around you because that was hot. That
hey,
that that was on that was on
gotta
point.
get something going, Rick. Gotta get something going with it.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Gotta do it.
Uh,
Gotta do it. Gotta do
we gotta do something.
it. That's hey yeah. That's that yeah. Hey hey.
Hey, gotta do something. Gotta do something. Oh wow. Now let me go to something because before we go too far, I got a couple things that people say. You usually go over your comments from the previous shows, but I have to say the show that we did on Sarah Hill in recognition of Women's Month, and we got Chelsea Johnson on, but on our Women's Month, Pete, the thing somebody made the comments and they were waiting to see what Sarah would say how things are different now at FAMU and what she thinks need to be done to rekindle the FAMU spirit.
Mm.
Another comment. Now, this is the comment that I got maybe 3 or 4 times. Coach, I didn't know you were the first women's basketball coach at FAMU. Like, these are like people I've known like since I was coaching at FAMU. And they're like, why you didn't say anything? I said, well, we say we started it.
Start
We just kind of thought that you could connect the dots. And they're like,
start.
Coach, that's history. We need to talk about that a little bit more. I said, well, that ain't really what I do, but you know. Then somebody else had a really good comment. They said the love of sports should be embraced by the university as a whole, not only by the coaches.
Mm.
I
Mm.
would, I would, I would agree. We always say, and we always said when we talked about championships, we always say that even in high school and middle school, the championships are won by the administration, not so much by the coaches. because they put things in place to make it a little bit easier for your coaches, where they don't have to fight everything, you know. But and then somebody else said, I was wondering if you wouldn't say that Charlie Ward was bypassed by the NFL because he was 6 foot and they thought that he was too short. But Doug Flutie was 5'10" and he still got drafted.
Mm, 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 mm. I think there's two things with that.
Okay.
One, I think the NFL knew that he had another option, so they didn't want to give him the props. They didn't want to give him the. They didn't want to be afraid to offer a first round draft pick, and then he bowled to the NBA. I think that was one. But the other thing I think is the melanin. I think that still played a role, no doubt. I think that played a tremendous role because at that time it wasn't as many. They didn't have the Lamar Jacksons and type quarterbacks that back then, or not as many anyway. And he was ahead of his time. And Bobby Bowden did a great job of letting Charlie do what Charlie did best. Coach Ward. I said I'd never call a coach by his first name. Um, Coach Ward do what he did best on the field, and the NFL was too tight to allow that at the time, I believe.
And see, I don't necessarily agree that Bobby let coach that Charlie do what he did best, because Charlie only played because he had injuries to the quarterbacks in front of him, and he was down 3 touchdowns. And Charlie brought him back. Now, the whole time, all the guys in practice knew that Charlie was the best quarterback on the team.
Okay.
But they tried to script it so that he wouldn't get that opportunity. You know, but God always has a plan. And it's different from what man's plan is. So once he got a chance, it was all over with. We got a lot of comments about the tribute that we did for Coach Ali. Got a lot of comments on that. Went to the memorial service on Saturday. Woo, it was long. I kind of left. It was after 2 hours when I left. And I was asked to speak, but it was so many people speaking that I just didn't have the heart to go up there and delay it any longer. I just thought, but it was really good. But if you do a memorial and you don't have it have somebody kind of keeping it to however minutes the family wants, people just start talking and talking and talking and coming out the bleachers and talking. So it was long, but it was touching though. It really was. So somebody else made another comment, say, if you reflect carefully, recognize the changes in Ali's life before he converted to Islam. And once I thought about that comment, he did make a lot of changes, because, you know, I knew Skip. That was my homeboy. And he did change a lot. So the conversion helped him. So those are some of the things that people have kind of talked to us about a little bit since the show, and they still want us to continue to do some more things historically and to let people know some of the historic facts that are going on. Okay, moving along. Oh, they said to keep Rick, whatever Rick has in his cup, they said you need to take that from Rick. And they said when we do the clapping thing and the panther is growling, to let the panther have some of whatever Rick has in his cup, and he'll growl louder. So I said, okay.
Why are people worried? What's in the people? Hey, we're gonna do a poll of what's in Rick's cup, and whoever can figure it out will get a prize.
Will they get some of what's in the cup?
They may get something. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but they may get something.
They may get something. Well, and following what we have been doing this month, recognizing Women's History Month and trying to kind of feature a lot of the young ladies and some of the things that they have done and continue to do. We have a really special individual that's with us today. I always like to start it off by saying that, you know, wow, they even Sports Diva saying you got Patron on there wow.
I mean, Pepsi, no to Pepsi. Come on, don't you remember the me?
Already they hollering Pepsi again. But let me get back to my
Yes, please.
I don't think that there's enough words to really describe what this young lady has done. She may be one of the longest standing women coaches of the girls over there at Godby. Is Coach Johnson, and one of Coach Johnson Muir. I never recognized them by their married names. That's I need to work on. If they throw their married name, I get confused. I'm old. It's like dancing next to the wrong person who has no rhythm. You can't catch a beat again. I won't get real specific because Derek McGee will know exactly what I'm talking about. But one of the things for sure is that she does so many things in terms of kind of transitioning her young ladies from girls to young ladies. She may have placed in the last 3 or 4 years more young ladies in school than anybody in the area. One of the things that she does a really good job of is establishing relationships, and she does a real good job of getting them an opportunity to play at the next level. What happens to them is on them from there, but she gets that opportunity for them. And she serves as a very, very positive role model, in addition to something that consumes her additional time that she isn't a lot because she has a newborn that is the queen and runs the palace. No. But she is a servant leader, and she does a lot in terms of recognizing her faith, doing things with her faith, and she just does that. Welcome to the show, Coach. How are you?
Coach, when you say all things like that, I start getting bashful, but I'm great, and I'm gonna get one for Mr. Rick. Any better, and I couldn't stand it. That's what my grandpa used to say all the time. You ask him how he's doing, he'd say, "Any better?" I couldn't stand it. So that's what I'm doing today.
I like that. I may have to add that to the repertoire. Thank you.
You can have that one. That was James E. Muse. Any better? I couldn't stand it. Yep. All right. I thank you all for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure for sure.
No, you honor us by being here, and the things, let me just get to it, Coach. You just do an outstanding job of getting these young ladies in school and providing that opportunity for them. And you do a excellent job in terms of showing them and representing being a young lady and being a professional at that. I know you have a family background, a village that helps you, and I know all of them. Yes, and it's a very, very close-knit family. You could start in there wherever you want to kind of let people get an understanding of you and your mission.
I guess I'm gonna start. My pastor, I attend Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, and he'll always say, somewhere over there insert the Bible book. And I'll start somewhere over there in Corinthians. One of the things that I really try to push and live by, and what my mom instilled in me, and like you mentioned, all of them. And it says we fixed our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen, because the seen is temporary, but the unseen is eternal. And so even as a young girl playing ball, and you know this to be true, Coach, because you watch me grow, and it's an honor and a privilege. You mentioned Coach Ali. And that's kind of where I find myself in that space right now, thinking about those individuals who have been a part of my village, even outside of my family, that has had the ability to still watch the seed that they planted years ago, right? Being a part of my village. One of the things that pushes me when you mentioned putting young ladies in school and trying to be a role model, that stemmed from you all. You had me coach without 12, 11, right? And now I'm blessed to see the age of 36 And you're talking about what, 25 years of just watching me do the very things that you put time and effort into years ago. And so that pushes me every day when I teach and coach at Godby High School, just to take these young ladies who, unfortunately, sometimes they don't come with a village that I had, right? Sometimes they don't come with a spotlight or a shine light. And so I just truly take it as my mission to serve them every single day, teaching them the foundation, teaching them the things that's going to allow them to survive as young women, and majority of the time, young Black women in society, giving them the hard truths, coach, because at the end of the day, back then when we played and now in 2023, things are just different. And so just being able to, give them the tools they need, using the orange basketball to be that navigational tool to get them where they need to be, scholastically, academically, but most of all, in their hearts, and recognizing to be great people. And that's just truly what stemmed from you all. And that's what I try to push for every day, to just make you guys proud. And of course, to make the one most high proud of what I'm doing.
Wow, we really do appreciate that. Those words that you say, you're always so humble. And you're in a situation at one of our schools here in the city at Godby that has a lot of trials and tribulations on its own.
Yes,
and you have an administrator, principal, who's really involved and hands-on. I don't go to a contest without seeing Mr. Cole there and active and, being concerned. We've had him on some things, even with the gun violence show that we did. Mm-hmm. And when you have somebody that you work for that's committed, it makes it a little bit easier for you to do what you have to do, knowing that their best interest is for the students as well.
I agree. And it extends, it starts with, like you said, Mr. Cole. I paid attention and watched the show that you had, even with Coach Dion, who was another person that was in my village while at Godby, and then it trickles down through our administration, through our faculty and our staff, and even volunteers, our coaches. It truly does, Coach. And I keep saying this, and it takes a village. And so with the place like Godby High School, I count it a blessing, though, because it truly does take the right people to be able to mend and teach and deal with our students every single day. It was so amazing, Coach. The other day we had a student versus faculty game. I am still getting over that. I will say that it's almost been a week. But the beauty of it was literally a incentive, right? That you could attend this event to get them, for all our students that had no referrals, no multiple absences and things like that. And Coach, it was crazy because I left my classroom, went to change, and I walked in the gym, and the gym was packed, Coach, like a Godby Rick game, right? And so what it showed me is that sometimes the things that we pay attention to, sometimes those trying students that you mentioned, sometimes those, bad days, those small percentage, right, of our students is just that, the smallest percent of our students. But what they end up doing sometimes is changing the narrative on what really happens at Godby High School. And so I've been blessed in a position to not only be an alumna of Godby High School, but to come back, right, and try to highlight the major percentage, the majority of our students that are doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. And we can highlight that. We get them opportunities on both sides, academically and athletically.
Well, Coach, tell everybody what you do outside of coaching. See, they had this envision or this image and picture of us, and all you do is wait till 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then you show up in the gym or something, and you go to practice. But you're involved with them on a day-to-day basis. Tell everybody what you do day-to-day.
Those are my babies, Coach. And it's so funny because you mentioned I'm a first-time mom. I have a 1-year-old named Hendrix. And Hendrix, yes, you said it best, is the queen of this castle. Okay, she runs it. But it's so amazing, though, because it was that mothering role is one that I extend myself to my players as well, right? I consider them to be in the same place as Hendrix, whatever they're needing. And so our practice may be 2 hours or 3 hours, but we don't stop there. I was just, as I was getting on to this call, talking to one of my players now. She's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm about to do an interview." And she was like, "What do you mean interview?" So I sent her the link. I said, "You can watch it and I'll text you once I'm finished." But we have cultivated a family environment within our Godby girls basketball program. It's so amazing, much like you could probably agree when you see me being at a game, Coach. We probably get into this, but we were in the district championship. And honestly, at the beginning of the season and last year, people probably would not have pegged that to be the case. And I remember we didn't win. The girls were upset. And coach, I had about 8 young ladies from our past teams in the gym. I didn't realize that till after the game. And they were the ones first coming to me, hugging me, saying, hey, coach, y'all gonna be all right. Y'all young. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of them, coach, you know. And coach, they went into that locker room telling the young ladies, keep y'all head up. I wish I would have listened. I wish I would have known what coach was saying then. And that's what we've been doing, is building a family relationship to where, you know, we want to be in their business. What are you doing outside of here? You know, if you get it in the church, they, coach, what church you going to? We want to go. You know, many of them have been recipients to our Sunday meals and dinners and cookouts and game nights. And we just want to be that extension of them. Sometimes the students may not go on to play college basketball. So if it is that the last time that they play a sport is with me, I want it to be the best experience. I want to know that when they lay their heads down at night, that I'm going to be able to say good morning to them in the morning. I want to know that they've had enough food. I want to know that their grades are right. And so myself and everybody on my staff have taken that commitment that we are going to be the ones standing in a gap for them for whatever they need. And if that extends to their moms, their dads, their aunts, their grandmas, their siblings, we're going to be that too. We're going to go to not only the basketball games, we're going to go see you get baptized, right? We're going to make sure that we're doing those things so you can be the holistic person that when we leave you, we know you're going to be okay.
And that you do. And it is a blessing to be able to watch you at work.
Thank you, Coach.
Not this season, last season, the number one watched basketball game that we produced was Godby Girls and North Florida Christian. Mm-hmm. And when I would look at the numbers, I said, I must not be looking at this right. And it was fair. It was more, they had more people watching than the Rick Godby boys, Florida High McClay, than any basketball game that we did. And it never really got close. And I was just surprised and proud that many people went back to see your games. Now, on that, Godby is, you know, it was not one of the original schools that allowed us to come in, but that was due to who the principal was. But immediately after that principal change, we've been pretty much at Godby ever since. And one of those reasons, Coach Corey Fuller got us in there. He said, wherever we go, I go, you go. Mm-hmm. And Chelsea was there. And the one reporter that's ever covered INSiiGHTS was Joy Lamar, who's now newscasting in Savannah. Mm-hmm. He got the tip on us from Chelsea. And that's when he called me to do something. And I thank you for that first time ever story on us. And we've been here now 10 years. And he told me he caught some heat and some criticism at the station for doing it on us and not doing it on some other people. But we appreciate you remembering us. And
always, Coach, always. You all, and let me take time to say this. You always say hashtag it's about the kids, right? And I love that, Coach. And that's the reason why, because it legitimately is, you know, and shout out to Milan, who's at NFC. And it's so funny that you say that, Coach, because with each year that passes, it's starting to seem like that's actually about to take on, you know, I don't want to say a rivalry, but like one of those games you look forward to, the more that we keep playing each other, you know, and I think it's really good for the city. I think it's really good for girls basketball, but ultimately that stems from you all. You highlight the student. You want to know and be about the student athlete, want to know more about them, and you celebrate them, what they're doing on the court and off the court, and anybody that comes into not only our school, but all the schools to help our students in the city. I'm all about that, Coach. So kudos to you all, and we appreciate it. And anytime I can get somebody to shed more light, I'm going to do just that.
And I know that. I know that, and you say that, and I'm 100% certain you've done that. And Rick, she is so suave now. Whatever you say to her, she's gonna have something back. I mean, she's just fully rounded individual and grounded. But let me touch on something else I need you to talk about, and that's the program that you started as a servant leader. I need you to talk a little bit about that, because that thing is just really taking off and growing for you.
You know, Coach, it goes back to that scripture, right? You know, the thick of the pandemic, the start of it, no one knew what turn, right? Or the magnitude of that. You know, is the one thing I tell people all the time that did not isolate socioeconomic status, race, religion, culture, gender, right? We all were in it. There was no escaping it. It was international. And one of the things that affected everybody, but sitting there watching ESPN and watching conference after conference cancel tournaments. You remember, we getting ready for March Madness, in the thick of it, and cancel, such and such conference, cancel. And it's getting me because I'm hurting for them, right? Because I knew at the home front that when Superintendent Rocky Hanna shut down extracurriculars for the county, I knew what that did for everyone, but I also knew what that did, much like you mentioned, that I'm at Godby, which is a totally different scenario. So I knew also that if the sport was the reason that the student was at that institution, and now that conference was canceled, there were some players hurting. And there's some coaches having to figure out a navigation to be able to help these students who can't go home, who may not have a place to go home, who need food, who need masks, and now we're on quote unquote shelter in place or shutdown. And so I often study my word, Coach. I try to stay grounded and humbled and growing in Christ. And I remember starting a plan on the Bible app, and a lot of times I do them for various things, but oddly enough, I had never done it in terms of basketball. I didn't, right? And so that particular day, I started a plan, and it talked about the servant leader coach. It talked about, the Christian coach. And I know I used to always say something said, and my aunt, rest her soul, she would always say, it's not something, the Holy Spirit speaking to you. And it said, ask coaches to join you. You're on Twitter, you're on social media all the time, ask them to join you. So quickly, I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that, right? And God will sit you down if you don't know that. He will sit you down. And that day, when I didn't, I got locked out of my house. So long story short, I went ahead and did and obliged. And this thing started with 50 coaches, right? Just on a week-long Bible plan, studying with each other, talking to each other, sharing, expressing their pains and hurts, their fears about what is to come. And at the end of it, our very first speaker was Willie Simmons over at FAMU, football coach. And he's a friend of mine, a brother of mine. And he was like, you know what, Chelsea, I don't know how you're going to do it, but I know you don't think after these 7 days that this is going to be finished. And I'm like, so I said, you know what, fine. As long as people say yes, we will keep this thing going. And of course, nationally, we are now in 2 weeks, we'll meet 3 years of the Servant Leader Coaches Bible Study, where we speak to athletic professionals, whether it be the athlete, the coach, the AD, those in the media. If you're extended to sports, we talk to you, and we want to talk about what it looks like to lead and serve like Christ in your role of athleticism. Because, Coach, this to be true, when it gets down to religion, sometimes it's a little bit hard to talk about depending on where you are. And so this gives coaches a open space to allow the helper to be helped, to allow iron to be sharpened. And we've had individuals now extended from the NFL, the NBA, the WNBA, NCAA, all levels, high school. And it's just been a blessing to just be able to be in this space. And it humbles you even further to hear this coach. Selection Sunday was last Sunday. We're about to get ready to watch March Madness. We're coming over with a graphic right now that extends over the teens of coaches that have been on the Bible study that are now leading the charge for their men and women in this tournament. And to hear them say, we're strengthened through Christ. We know he's going to lead us. We're doing this. We're doing that. It's such a blessing to be able to take part of that. And especially when you never thought that sitting in your house, getting locked out, almost ignoring the call and charge from God, and you oblige, and the turn and the spin that this thing has now taken.
Wow. It's nothing more to add to that other than how proud we are that it's taken off so well behind you. And the fact that it's not something that you hide. It's something that you do. And you wear it on your chest. You wear it in your words. And we appreciate that. I mean, we appreciate that.
Coach.
And I wanted to make sure that as we talked about Godby and basketball, that we talked about the bigger picture and your service. I think that needed to be highlighted.
I appreciate that, Coach. I do. It's funny you say on my chest. It is on my chest, but it's on my chest because it's in my heart, and I watch you all. There's no money. Again, I follow you all. there's a money that's coming for that when you all sit in our gym and watch. Sometimes now, if you come to Godby and it's taken ahead back to the old ways, 3 games a night from 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, you all are there. You know, you're talking to me right now. We're there. And so I feel that sports brings people together. It's a unifier. It truly is a unifier. And so if we can continue to be in that space of just serving others, right, and just being what others need, you'll realize, though, Coach, and this is the funny part, you'll realize that Coach Ali was one. We did a show with Cappy Pondexter, and she talked about her battle between Christian Faith Foundation and converting to Muslim. And me and Coach Ali would talk about that often a lot. But what you find is that when you serve, what you find is when you yield what you want, when you begin to be selfless, it opens this thing up. We can help students. We can realize what they really need, and we can come together as a community. And so I'm just so thankful to be able to be in this space to do that.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, Coach, we need to have you back. And this is, I haven't decided we need to have you back or just do a special on you in our Insights magazine component, which might be even better, where we just get a chance to talk specifically more in depth about this.
I appreciate that, Coach.
Because I think that even with us being on Roku, now we have a faith component. Faith TV runs 7 o'clock in the morning till 1 on Sunday morning. And you can pull, and it has sermons on there, different sermons for 5 hours. And we need it. In fact, my brother has been real instrumental. My brother right behind me has been real instrumental in providing the information for us to use it. And we don't forget where we come from.
Yes, sir.
And part of the story that we're going to tell with the young men that are coming on, you know, we're a team that started 0-10. I mean, and we ended up with 9 players. We had to have tryouts, have kids off the student body come so we'd have enough to practice.
Yeah.
And end up winning the tournament. And that's only through his hand. I mean, you know, and these young men that are coming on now are part of that. So we understand the significance of God and what he plays in our life. But I'm glad that you said that was your aunt who told you to do that.
Oh, well, she says, don't say something said. If you feel that jar and tug in your heart, you know who's talking to you.
Coach, we appreciate you. There's so much more, so many layers to this that we want to get into it because we want people to see it.
Yes, sir.
People who are dealing with things, and sometimes they look at us and other people and don't realize some of the things that they've gone through to get to where they are.
Yes, sir.
You know, and they have to realize that comes through trials and tribulations and through having that iron sharpened.
For sure. So
we appreciate you taking the time. I know baby girl is missing her
Surprised
mommy.
you didn't hear her. I appreciate you all having me on.
We appreciate you taking the time. And next week we'll have somebody on that you know, again, a former athlete, Dr. Devin Moore.
Oh, nice.
You know, she's now out in Oklahoma.
That's right.
And she's doing some really great things. But again, as you look at viewers, as you look at a lot of these young ladies, these are young ladies who came with athletic backgrounds.
That's right.
Who use those athletic backgrounds to get to where they are now. And it could be you with no problem. It could be you.
That's right.
So we appreciate you being with us, and we look forward to having you on and doing more. And I really want to talk some more about your service.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much. I enjoyed it.
No.
Thanks,
you.
Coach, for enlightening us. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Insights now has its own Roku channel. Insights itself is a dream maker providing a platform for content creators. Go with Insights Roku channel into 91 million homes. We are strengthening our programs that will continue to educate, entertain, and enlighten our viewers. We will still feature youth sports, Mick and Rick, Insights Magazine, Remember the Legends, and much more. Stay tuned for our creative content. Appreciate your support.
Well. One young man that's there, and you know, that would be our frat brother, Mr. Derek McGee, one of the Noble Nine, one of the historic Noble Nine. Morris Scott, we don't know where he is. We just see the brick wall back there. But there's a reason why some are Kappas and some are what they are.
Some are not.
Hey, this is typical Mo Skitty. He'll steal the ball, but you don't know where he's gonna be after this. So, you know,
he say you don't know where he's gonna be after.
I have no idea.
Derek, we appreciate you being with us. One of the things that I always remember about you was even before the tournament, we were making one of our first road trips. Derek McGee comes and he has like 8 ties around his neck. And I'm like, Derek, where you going with all these ties? He said he knew guys, they might have forgot they're supposed to wear a tie on the road. He said, I'm trying to make sure I have a tie for everybody, so ain't none of us doing no extra running because they forgot to bring a tie.
Hey, we had a strict dress code, and I was not about to run for their mistakes. I was like, listen, I got a bunch of ties. Come on, fellas. Hey, throw that tie on. Let's go.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That would be Derek now.
Hey, look, guys. So tell me this. Going into this tournament, what were y'all feeling? How were y'all playing well? Give us the background. I mean, y'all started slow. Coach, you mentioned y'all started 0-10. So it seemed like y'all were building up momentum going into the tournament. How were you feeling, Coach? And then D, talk about the team. How were y'all feeling heading into the MEAC tournament?
Well, the game before the MEAC tournament, we were in Daytona playing Bethune-Cookman, arch rival game. And so we go down and win that game, come back, and we're leaving like before a day in the morning, going to the conference tournament. So we have a flight out in the morning, and it's storming. I mean, it's storming. So we're like, where is the bus? We ain't got no bus. So it's dawning on me that once again, we ain't got set up. There's no bus coming to take us to the airport. So I have to gather the guys together and say, look, y'all need to get together in cars, drive to the airport. We'll pay for your parking, but we got to catch this flight. We leave. I'm in the last car with our trainer and going over by Seminole Reservation in the rain, and some FSU students came through the stop sign, hit me, knocked me across a ditch, knocked me into the ditch, and I had to have somebody come get T-Ray while we waited on the police to get the tickets, to get the team on the airplane, to get them to the tournament. And that's how it started right then. It was just a matter of survival. You know, it was just a matter of survival. We never did get a winning record going in, but we just kind of got hot at the right time, and the guys got really, really dedicated. I let D McGee kind of answer that from the guys' perspective.
So I'll say this: starting off 0-10, we had played a different brand of basketball the previous couple of years. We had Big Jerome on the team. He was a focal point of our offense. Hey, give him the ball, let him go to work. We played defense. We grabbed every rebound that came off the rim. I think a lot of teams thought that we used to run drills specifically on offensive rebounding because we didn't make a lot of shots, but who got the rebounds and put them back in. And we didn't have anybody who averaged double-figure rebounds, but we did the job. I mean, we came together as a team. I think we were like 0-10, 1-11 at the time. And the guys were like, hey, we need to step it up. If this is, we had a lot of seniors on that team. We were like, we want to win this tournament going in. And Mo Skitty just came on. And I know we had that team meeting where we said, listen, it's us against everybody. And from that point on, I think we won like 12 out of our next 6 games. I mean, 12, we went like 12-6 to finish the season. And we started playing a good brand of basketball. We locked in defensively. Now, it helped that we had probably the 2 best defensive guards in the league in Mo Scott and Monroe Pippen. But we did what we had to do to get to that point.
So you guys were feeling confident headed into the tournament.
Oh, yeah, we figured we could beat anybody. I mean, we had just made it to the semifinals the year before with Jerome, and we were like, all right, why can't – I mean, we brought everybody back except him. All we got to do is just really just believe in each other, and let's go make it happen.
But guys, I think Mo, it might be you echoing. You got 2 things. You might need to turn one of them off because we got an echo now. But we had part of it going to the tournament. I mean, I don't think that we even. I'll speak for myself. I was not really aware of what we really accomplished till maybe the next year because it happened so fast. And we went from winning the tournament and we were kind of on euphoria from that. And we were just kind of basking in the glow of all the adulation we got. If there was ever a Cinderella story, it was us. And the only bad part about that was it was spring break. And when we got back, campus was pretty much closed. Mm-hmm. So they never got that adulation from the fans when they got back. But you got Coach Scott on there. He could share with you a little bit because he was king of the one-liners during that whole thing.
No, not me. I was not the king of the one-liners.
Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah,
you were the king of the in the interviews. We almost had to muzzle him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great time. Going to the tournament was something, I'm sure. I mean, every kid that goes to play college basketball, especially Division I, that's the goal, to get into that NCAA tournament and to do it, at Florida A&M for a team that had never been was definitely special. And like they said, we got off to a rough start. But what people don't know, we had a lot of injuries that season as well. And like D. McGee said, the year before we played totally different. And, I tell coach this all the time. The year before probably was the best team I think I've ever played on. And I've seen in a lot of HBCU basketball. I thought that team was very talented. But like D. McGee said, it was getting the ball to Jerome and you just do your part, And then the next year, we kind of had to reshuffle the deck without him being the focal point of the middle group. And really try to find ourselves as players. And now that I'm in coaching, I mean, that takes some time as a coach to figure out, now which direction you go in to try to get this group to be, a little better than the last group without totally, falling apart. But with all the injuries we had throughout the season, I mean, we was different lineups every night, in and out. Somebody out this night, somebody out that night, somebody out this night, somebody out for 2 weeks. Somebody come back and get. I remember Rod Saymody came back and gave us like 2 games, and then he was out again for another. So we was kind of like an NBA team, like guys. We were signing somebody for a 10-day contract. I mean, It was bad. One time we had a manager strap it up, so it was. I mean, it was
rough. Wow. Okay, guys. So look.
Before you go there, let me talk about Rod. Rod came back senior night.
Yeah.
and that guy from Morgan had been killing us.
Yes.
And Morgan and Rod D'd him up. And what did he do?
Yes.
Physical with it.
Very physical.
And when we got him in the conference tournament, we played him physical like Rod played him.
Right.
And it was a non-factor. We kind of
non-factor.
We took him out the game. Rod showed us how to defend it.
Yep.
Go ahead, Rick.
No, okay, all right. Before I get to all right, so in the MEAC tournament, who did y'all beat?
Howard, game 1.
in the
Okay.
playing game in the
Yep.
Arthur Ashe
And
Center.
Arthur Ashe. Then,
Okay.
We
then,
weren't even in the tournament. We had to play in to get in the tournament.
And the tournament was where?
The Arthur Ashe Center
What city? What city?
in Norfolk.
In Norfolk. Okay.
Okay, now you
Okay.
asking for details for 20 years ago. Now what time was
More
your
than
game?
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So you beat my home team, Howard, in the playing game.
Yep. And then we ran through the top 3 teams.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious we don't remember team by
Coppin.
team.
We ran into Coppin the next night. Like we ran into Coppin, then we ran into Morgan, Coppin, and then we played South Carolina State in the championship game.
South Carolina State, and was that Cy Alexander was coaching?
Cy Alexander.
Okay. All right. So y'all beat them, and the next day y'all celebrating. Y'all are back home. You find out.
No, before we even got there, it was, man, we played like 4 games in 5 days.
Right.
In that one orange uniform that we had to wash
nightly.
Yeah, one orange uniform with no shooting shirts, no nothing. And we get through playing, there wasn't nowhere to go eat. And we're trying to scrounge up to get food.
Yep.
And then we looked up the semifinals. We look up and the band pulls up, hadn't been there. The cheerleaders pull up, hadn't been there. And I'm looking out the window. I'm like, they're not staying in the same hotel with us. Yes, they were. So I'm like, I'm trying to get to them before they even get off the bus because they coming to have a good time. The game is just something to do, but they coming to have a good time. They can't be in the house. They can't be in the hotel disrupting these guys. You know, because I mean, these guys were so tired that they literally were getting back, almost falling out. Because we were playing them back to back to back, and it was a little special just trying to do that, and just to kind of refresh these guys just a little bit.
Wow. Wow. So you get the call. It's Duke. You get there. We're
When the
going to get
call was on TV.
right. You find out it's Duke. You guys are still on cloud nine probably. You don't care who it is, right? Tell when you see Florida A&M's name on that screen on Selection Sunday, what's the feeling like?
Well, I'll say this. Duke was probably the best team in the country. That was the best team in history that never won a national championship. They were loaded from the top to the bottom. I mean, they had probably about 8, 9 NBA players on that team. It was interesting.
Well, to make it bad, my brother was at the tournament holding a sign up talking about we want Duke.
We want Duke.
Yeah, that was not the right move, but
And all during the press conferences, they kept asking us about who was the guy holding that up. And I said, that was my brother who had just got released from a mental asylum. He's going back.
Tonight, right? He's going back tonight.
One-liners. Look, you had the one-liners, Coach.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Mo Scott. They said, Mo, I'll never forget, Mo said, Duke beating people by 35 and 40. If we even close, we get the big hype then.
Yeah, but you guys seen the article right there? I mean, they had won like 27 straight games. Yeah. They had beat their last 7 opponents by 32 points average. I mean, they just beat Maryland in the ACC championship game by like 40. So going into the game, I mean, we got 9 guys over here. two of them are walk-ons. Like, we're still struggling. Right. And we just got done, playing. Like, this is going to be a tough feat for the old Rattlers. Okay. So I hit them with the, I mean, if something was to happen in this game, we gonna really go national. I told them we're gonna be on Jay Leno, Oprah, Tonight Show, everything.
See, he remembered.
It's coming back. It's coming back. Oh, wow. All right, so when you lined up against some guys, what was it like? Just put me into that arena.
Amazing fit. Oh, go ahead, Dick.
Go ahead, Mo.
No, I was gonna say, man, it was an amazing feeling. Coming out there and competing, probably like Derek said, probably one of the best teams ever assembled in college basketball at that particular, especially for that time, they were definitely the best, but they might be one of the most all-time put together teams ever that did not win it, for sure. Besides probably like UNLV when they, tripped up and lost. They probably was the second best team I think I've ever seen. I mean, you're talking about they had a Corey Maggette was coming off the bench for them at this particular time. like, I mean, what team gonna have a guy? Well, he was a six pick of the draft, 7th, 9th, something. Yeah. He was a lottery pick that came off the bench. Now, this is how good this team was at this particular time. So, but the feeling was great because we came right out of the gates on them, and we was hanging in there, and the crowd was cheering for us, and they was going crazy because we was in North Carolina, so all the Tar Heel fans was rooting against Duke. So,
right.
And everybody wanted to see the underdog win, so the whole gym was going crazy for us. So that moment, it was insane. So it was the best. It was probably one of the better feelings I've had, as a player for sure in college basketball.
Wow. D.
I'll say this. So prior to the game, I knew that we would, like most, we had a challenge on our hands. I vividly remember coming into the game. I think I hit my first shot, and then I instantly picked up like 3 fouls in a row. And coach was like, "Damn, Derek, what's going on? Why you over here fouling so much?" I said, "Elton Brand's strong as hell, coach." Finish and one. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, he's 6'8", 260 pounds of muscle. At the time, I'm 6'6", maybe 210 pounds of none but skin. Like, what you want me to do?
Oh man!
And you remember Elton Brand took his first shot? I think it was Kevin George or Jamal. One of them caught it and threw it out. He had got between him and the goal, and he shot. He caught it and threw it, and everybody said, "Woo!" Then goaltending 2. We were like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah.
Or when Krzyzewski his first time out, and we were within 4 points of him, and Krzyzewski raised his hand. Man, we ain't get a shot for 2 minutes.
Oh, for like the next 8 to 10 minutes, it was a complete shutdown. I think they went on like a 24-0 run. It was crazy.
Right.
Yeah, it was real tough.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really, and it was an experience. I mean, you don't think that Duke is big and as cut up as they are until you see them in person. And once we got back to Tallahassee, everybody got in the weight room. Me too. Them cats were cut up, and we were like, wow. They don't look like that on TV, but when you saw them in person, it was a different thing.
And then, coach, they was bringing 2 7-foot All-Americans off the bench.
Yep.
What you gonna do with that?
Nothing we could do. I remember one time they had the lineup with Chris Carrawell at like 6'5" at the point, Corey McGett at the 2, Shane Battier was at the 3, Elton Brand was at the 4, and Big Chris Burgess, the 7-footer, was at the 5. So I mean, I'm 6 feet even, and coach had me playing the 2 at this particular time. So Corey McGett get me in the post, and I'm fouling. Coach like, you can't foul. I mean, you can't foul out, right? I'm like, well, but coach, I mean, he's 6'6", 6'7", and he got me in the post, coach. I can't guard that. No, I didn't foul out. But it was a rough match.
If somebody has their phone on or something, they need to turn it off, because when some of y'all talking, it's echoing again real bad. Other people is not, but some people are echoing.
Oh, okay.
They y'all have been. I mean, did you see? Now they talking about the atmosphere. We were sitting there watching our fans. They were sitting directly across from us, and they started doing the wave, going up and down, up and down. They didn't need nobody to go around the arena. The FAMU fans were going up and down. They were having a good time over there. It didn't matter to them one way or the other. They were on national TV and they were in the dance.
And the Chapel Hill fans were joining in right with them.
Yes, sir. They were joining right in with them.
Wow.
And when we came out after the game, they gave us a standing ovation.
How did that make y'all feel?
Like kings, I ain't gonna lie. I said, I told myself, I said, listen, this was an experience that I enjoyed, and I wanted to come back. I tell everybody now, I said, look, I brought out a couple souvenirs. I said, well, this is what the MEAC championship ring right here. I've been to now 6, 7 NCAA tournaments in my career. I'm at North Carolina Central now. I got 3 rings from the NCAA tournament there. I got 1 when I was at Bama State, 1 when I was at Cincinnati. I got on the women's side, the men's side. It's an experience where once you go back, it's contagious. I see why now the schools work so hard to get there, because they treat you like kings, and you want to get that experience for yourself, for your players, for your team, your administration, everything. And it brings so much notoriety to the schools, and the impact that it has on enrollment, impact it has on the morale of the other teams that are coming behind you. I mean, it's intoxicating.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah.
And some people even get commercials out of it.
Oh yeah. Yep. Some of us do.
Well, we know. Hey, look, we know who got the commercial, baby.
Yeah, and we do know who got the commercial, right?
Hey, but that's what I was gonna say. You left that part out, Coach. We almost didn't even make it to the tournament.
Oh,
Wow.
See, there they go. Yeah, we did it.
I mean, we almost didn't even make it to the tournament to win the tournament.
Crazy.
We laughing, but you're absolutely right.
I'm serious.
We almost didn't make it. I mean, we really did get set up a couple times.
Yes.
And the guys sat in the gym one day and said, "This is gonna be a heck of a story when we win this." They sat in the gym about halfway through the season. I mean, we had guys getting hurt. Mo, you missed some games too, didn't you? And
No, not. Oh, I might have missed one that year. I ain't missed as many that year. I don't think. I might have missed one, maybe.
I missed a couple.
Yeah, D. McGee missed a couple for sure. He was banged up at the tournament.
No, he was sick too, because he
And
game.
And the flu.
Right.
Yeah, had the flu.
And he came to get on the bus. I said, "Man, you can't get on the bus like that. All of us would be sick." He all wrapped up in 17 blankets and stuff. He said, "Coach, you're gonna be down to 8." I said, "We're gonna be down to 8." I said, "If you go 6, you're gonna be down to 6." And he said, "Oh, they go." And he went back to his room and said, "No, man, just get well. Just get well." But it was.
Well, then for the tournament, he was like, "We got to make sure you good for the tournament." I was like, he was running me ragged in the gym. I said, "I'm good. I'm ready to go."
Oh man.
Wow.
But doesn't it come back to you guys every year around this time? It just comes back to you, the significance of what you accomplished.
You guys
I'll
made
say
history.
this, I'll say this, Coach. I was literally at South Carolina State probably a week and a half ago when our men and women played them there. And I looked on their banners where it said they were regular season champs in 1999. And I made it a point to tell everybody I saw they weren't tournament champs.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I wasn't tournament champs that year. Y'all were pretty good, but y'all weren't tournament champs that year."
Yeah.
You had to remind them, Derek.
Oh yeah. You know, hey, it's my duty to go ahead and just let everybody know.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that the highlight clip went by so quick, they were featured in Sports Illustrated. They did a story about them, which was the #1 sports magazine in the world, was Sports Illustrated.
Oh yeah.
And the story, how that unfolded was, they would call and they would say, "Coach, we called and you answered the phone. You don't have a secretary?" I said, "No, I have no secretary." And then they were like, "Well, do y'all have a tennis shoe deal?" I said, "Yeah, we buy the shoes, we get the laces free." So Sports Illustrated was like, and they knew a real good friend of mine, Don Yeager, real big publishing author in the area. They contacted him, said, "Man, we need to do a story on him. That guy is crazy." And I said, "No, we need to do it on the team." And I said, "No, as long as we interview you, because you're gonna give us something. You're gonna give us something." So I'm not trying to do the story on me. It got to be on the team and stuff. So the guys, I mean, they had them all posed back in the bleachers. They were mean mugging before it was the thing. They don't smile. We can't smile because we be business. We not sitting and grinning. We mad. We got a job to do. So I said, "Hey, y'all pose like you pose." But it was really a special time, and I think our alumni appreciated it. Derek's gone along the way now and seen what effect it has with the money you bring back. It bails you out of a whole lot of problems with that check you get from the NCAA from that.
When you talking about money, you talking about you talk about the big programs and how they continue to have sustained successes because they're going to the tournament, not just in the first round, but they're getting to the Sweet 16, they're getting to the Final Four, and the money just grows as you get deeper and deeper in the tournament, and it's paid out over a 6-year period. So the financial impact, I think one time I was looking at the revenue, I think like Duke, between Duke, Kentucky, and Kansas, they were all bringing in like $25 million a year just in basketball tournament revenue. This is before they even sold a ticket because of all the units that they've acquired from going deep into the tournament. And so it's really important that we support our institutions so that we can make those runs, because then that money will come back to our institution so we can continue to build our programs also too.
Right.
With all those rings that you've gotten, Derek, you never forget the first one.
No.
Ever. Look, and you know, I got a couple now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's what I tell our guys, you know. Being in coaching too at the same time, you know, I've had a couple times being able to go as a coach, which is, you know, quite different from being a player and going as far as being a coach. Because as a coach, I don't think one time I ever really got a chance to really enjoy the moment as a coach. So I don't know how coach felt about like going, like you kind of get a day or two with, you know, for the teams that I've coached, because we was playing that right away that Tuesday in the playing game. I went twice and played in the playing game. Actually 3 times went and played in the playing game. And then went one time straight through, but you so engulfed in trying to get your team prepared and ready for the game to you don't really, until it's all over with, get a chance to step back and really say, man, we just did that. Like we went through like this moment. Like, so it was a little different feeling as a coach going than, you know, when you actually win and go as a player. So I see why D McGee, like that first one as a player going in there, it's way different feeling than on the coaching side going.
Wow,
but it all feels good though.
That's a heck of a comment, Mo Scott. I hadn't thought about it that way. But I can, because for us it's work, and
yeah,
to go, you got so many things coming at you.
Yeah,
you know, you only get X number of tickets for each one of the players, and
yeah,
then they were cutting the number of tickets, and then you got
travel to, you know, who traveling.
Right.
You know, scouting reports. We ain't even talked about the game. The scouting trying to
right.
Where you gonna practice? What time? You know, where we gonna eat meals? All this.
How many we get on the list? I got my mom coming and my stepdad, and my dad coming with my stepmom.
Exactly.
And I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Coach, what I'm gonna do? I said, don't give them your address. You know, Coach, what we gonna do? We only got 4 tickets, and we got 2 or whatever it was, and then you know you trying to make sure your guys are straight. You know, so it's just, you know. Then out of all of that, we go to get on the plane, and they don't have a ticket for me. You see them? They don't have a ticket for me, and I'm like, I'm the coach. Coach, we have no ticket with your name on it. We don't have a ticket for you. And I'm like confused. And the guy's like, well, coach, the plane leaving in 15 minutes. So you gonna need to make a decision here. So I had to reach in the bag of the food money and buy my ticket to go. It was a little different. It was a little different.
Well, I will be the first, well, not the first, but the latest Rattler alum to say how proud I was to see y'all there. And it didn't matter how y'all played or what happened in the game. Just to hear them say Florida A&M, FAMU, Rattlers. Oh man, my chest was so, every time, it just felt so good, guys. So congratulations and thank you for Rattler Nation for doing that damn thing. For real, for real. For real.
And I appreciate y'all coming on. We tried to get Monroe, and he was like, which surprised me that he responded as quick as he did, and all of that. But he said he had some commitment that he had made he couldn't be on.
Yeah, you know Monroe in speaking and public speaking, you know how he ain't the real talker in front of the camera type guy.
He sure didn't when we were at the tournament. The mic would go to him, he'd be like,
Mo, answer that one.
Mo Skitty would help him. Now those two, they were such a combination, right? If I'm calling one shot, Monroe be open. He want the ball. Mo wouldn't give it to him. Man, why you giving a shot? Mo, why you giving a shot, Monroe? I'm open. He said, no, coach said one shot. As soon as you got you was gonna shoot it. He's not gonna take you out the game because I gave the ball to you. And Monroe knew that if he took that shot before I could get his ass out the game, he jumped up and ran and got the offensive rebound.
Or get a steal.
Coach, I got it back. I said, boy, those two are guards, because they were like, man, you got those two little guards. They said but man, them guys have a lot of heart. They don't quit. They get after it. And Mo was gonna strap you up too, you know. And Derek, we had him. He get in there and bang. Don't let him get by the goal now, because he tried to dunk on you.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Man, I would love to hear y'all be a fly on the wall and just see a reunion of y'all and just listen to the stories.
Oh my God, Rick, you don't even want to hear them stories.
Oh,
we can't even share them stories with you on the air.
That's the back room with bourbon, baby. That's the back room with bourbon.
It's DNA. Details not available. No, they can't tell them stories. They can't tell them stories because they got something to tell, boy. When I get them even on the phone, I'm like, if I ain't feeling good, they hey, you laughing. They be remembering stuff I don't remember. Coach, you remember such a stop. Stop. But these guys have done well. Morris at ULM, Louisiana Monroe, coaching down there. Derek McGee, between me and his mom staying on about finishing his PhD, you know, he's been a number of different places, and they got him now over there with the university. He mess around here, he might be at somebody's university one day running stuff. So these young men have gone on and have been real successful, and they were two guys that they didn't need much from me. They had a family that sent them to school, that prepared them how to make right choices, and if they didn't make a right choice, how to get help to get corrected out of it. So,
you did a great job with us though too, Coach.
He built us out a lot now. He built us out a lot.
Yeah. Taught us how to grow up and be real men, man. I tell people all the time, you know, I was one of the ones when I first got there when you used to make us wear them shirt and ties on that plane. I was like, man, why we just can't be like every other team and wear these sweatsuits, man? Shirt and tie. But it made me grow up. You know, I tell the story of, you know, sitting by, you know, you sit by people on planes and you talk to them. And I think I told you that story about the lady calling me with my first job because she had remembered me from being on a plane talking to her. It was going to a convention in Atlanta or something. We, you know, all our flights went through Atlanta. And I was sitting beside her and I just told her who I was, what I did, you know, and you always say, you know, if they actually, you know, try to have conversation with the people that's around you, you know, be professional, talk to, you know, and I had a conversation. I didn't even remember the lady, but she remembered me. That's how I got my first job, Coach.
Wow.
Coaching middle school basketball in Freeport, Freeport, Florida. She called me. She was over there in Denham Springs at the school board. It was a school board lady that called me and gave me my first job.
Wow,
Mo. That's all right.
Yep. So you did a great job.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I remember when I recruited Morris, one of his things he said, like, Coach, I want to go to the NCAA tournament. I want to hear him say, and from Fitzgerald, Georgia, Morris Scott. He said, Coach,
Yep.
I got to live that. I got to hear him say that.
No doubt. Yep. We used to watch this tournament every year with my dad, and he used to be like, "You really think you can play at that level?"
So Rick, they did really well and still represent where they came from. You know, we're real proud of these two young men, both of them family men, raising their family, spending time with them, helping them grow, being there to spend time with them. You know, Derek around there with his son looking at him, but Derek's son is taller than him. He an honor roll student. His sons are doing well. Morris, I mean sons and daughters, let me say that. Morris, his wife makes sure her kids gonna be in the right school and they do the right thing.
Exactly. Yep.
And you gotta have a good one to hold you down if you're gonna be in this profession.
For sure.
You know. So what I want to do is I'm gonna close this out. Rick, if I get a couple more of these guys on here, we have to do this show off air. By the time they get through telling the stories that they tell, see that they're filtering through their mind what story they could tell.
Yeah.
The
no halftime speeches. We can't give you none of that talk.
Call me up afterwards because I want to hear a couple of these halftimes. Yeah, I bet you there was some spicy ones.
Stop it. All right, Lord. I know good and doggone well it's time to close it. And speak of the devil, there go Credell Wingate.
Oh man.
There go Credell. He'd be the last one I need to throw in this mix. It'd be overweight. It'd be over.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, do not throw him in there.
Off the air right now.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to close it off and then send Credell, let him come in off the air and have that part of it.
Yeah.
Because it would be a little crazy once they get started. Now, this crew here now, I'm just telling you, that's just how they roll. That's how they roll. Gentlemen, we appreciate y'all. We need to get together real soon. They keep trying to do something during basketball season, but you know, basketball people, it's hard to get them together during basketball season.
Yeah.
That's just difficult to me. I don't know what's so hard to figure out about that. I really don't.
Yeah.
Then they say, well, maybe we need to do something homecoming. I say, when everybody is here and they can't get a hotel. So it needs to be at a different time. Maybe, you know, the first game or second game where the emphasis will be more on the guys just kind of hanging out and not really looking to do something. They can get a hotel rate and be able to get in town and be within a 75-mile radius.
You're right.
Don't have to commute from Atlanta for the game and drive back. Or like the visiting football teams put them out in Wakulla by the high school out there in the woods, and there's nothing out there. They don't have to worry about them guys going out because they're afraid the alligators go get them, and the women not going out that far down them dark roads to see them. So their hotels, they stay full out there. They put the visiting teams out there.
Yep.
You saw Derek like, no distractions. No distractions. I appreciate y'all, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you having me.
Oh,
Appreciate
absolutely.
it, Coach. Appreciate it, Rick.
Yeah.
Rick, stay sober here.
Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, Florida Corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises. It is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation.